There isn't really a trail through the lava tubes, but if you park your car in a parking area that's at the base of Tabernacle Hill as the road first meets the steep hill driving towards it, you can get out of your car, and then if you head down into the little collapsed valley on the east side of the road, that's the side towards the freeway where you came from, and you head east, you encounter this first lava tube, which is quite dark and decently long and very pretty.
She's not big into
Parts of the floor of the cave are smooth and packed dirt, but there's a lot of also collapsed rock, some of which can be a little bit sharp. So it's you need to use your hands. It's advisable to have a headlamp or a flashlight in some of the darker sections of the cave. In the eastern lava tube, there is a side passage that branches off, goes back a little ways, and eventually dead ends. But you know, it's interesting, it's worth a look, and you can see some of the water action in the cave starting to form stalactites on the ceiling. Heading out the other end of the eastern lava tube, it's pretty easy to walk back over ground, back to the parking area, and then you can head back into the same valley on the eastern side of the road, but this time instead of heading to the eastern lava tube, turn west and head towards the lava tube that actually goes underneath the road that you drove in on. You'll get your first chance of doing some pretty good scrambling across some sharp lava boulders, again from the collapsed caves. There's a lot of this heading west through both the lava tubes as well as the valleys from the collapsed lava tubes. Lots and lots of rock to scramble across. So it's one where small children, toddlers like that, are probably going to need some help or may have a really difficult time. Older kids, for the most part, will be just fine getting through there, but it can be rough walking. Most of the lava tube sections on the west side of the road are pretty short and generally don't even get dark enough where you need a flashlight. And there will be, you know, collapsed sections again of the caves to cross between the tubes that are still intact. You know, you're going to be down here in these caves and you may find yourself thinking that they're mind-blowingly pretty. There's a lot of pits, holes in the ceiling where light comes through and just makes some beautiful effects when you're down underneath.
Yeah, big karma, big cracks.
coming out of that really beautiful section of tube, there is a section of collapsed tube with some pretty high jumbled rocks. I included some footage of that here so you can see how difficult the walking is. This is pretty tough. Some of the rocks are loose. Many of them are pretty sharp. And this lasts for, I would say, at least 100 yards or so. It's a decent length before it gets easier again. At last you approach this kind of grassy valley where the walking is easy for a little bit before heading back into the last few sections of lava tube. So I'm pretty sure it's obvious that I've sped up most of this video. It takes quite a while to navigate through these caves because the walking is difficult, but that's not a bad thing. It gives you a lot longer to enjoy the beauty of being down in there. This last section of cave is fun. It doesn't have an outlet. There's cool air. You can tell that there's some passages that must go a little deeper because the air gets actually cold down in some of the lower parts of the cave. And there's signs of bats in this part of the cave. I saw a bat in here once. It eventually just sort of dead ends, closes off, and you know that you've reached the end of the cave adventure. As you come out of that cave, there's a little faint trail off to the right that does lead you right up to the top, out of the valley and back up to kind of level ground, where you can see Tabernacle Hill, as well as the crater of the volcano, which is kind of interesting to go look at as well if you want to. Walking back to the car, you can follow the dirt road past Tabernacle Hill, or it's kind of fun to walk along the rim of the collapsed caves. It does give you a chance to see some of the pits, the holes that you could see from down in the caves, which is kind of interesting. A little bit of a different perspective and a way to see the neat area again, way back to the parking lot. We're here at Tabernacle Hill, down in this little, there's kind of like a little sideshow cave here. So you will have to crawl or crouch down, depending on how big you are, to get into this little cave. It's just a fun little thing that's kind of off the side of the main lava tubes, and in fact it does lead out another end, a little bit tighter, fun little cave for little people.